Hello everyone, welcome to our first class on Linux for cybersecurity experts. So in this class, we're going to just look at the overview of Kali Linux, then look at how to open our terminal and run some basic commands that are essential in your cybersecurity journey. Okay, my name is Daniel Uyo and I am a cybersecurity trainer at Fix Lab Technology. So once you opened your Kali Linux, maybe from your VirtualBox or your virtual machine, which I'm using VirtualBox, and then you are at your desktop, this is kind of what you are going to see. If you're looking for a video on how to install the Kali Linux, the video is there in the channel. Just type how to install Kali Linux, then you search in my channel. I think it will come up there. So once you are here at your desktop, if you right click on this your desktop, you see create a launcher, create URL link. This launcher is if you want to create a kind of a shortcut to a program. Let's say somehow like a shortcut in your desktop program, a shortcut to Firefox, a shortcut to Nmap, a shortcut to anything you want to create, a shortcut to that program. You can use this create launcher. Just put in the name, put in the command. The command can be something like Firefox, then the working directory, and the rest. You choose the icon as well. Okay, so that is what the create launcher means. The create URL link is if you want to create a website link. Okay, so if you want to be opening a site directly from your desktop, you can create a URL link. You can also create a folder, something with our Windows desktop, where you can create a folder, you can create a document, an empty document. You can paste. If I've copied something, I can use this and paste it, but since I've not copied anything, it's not highlighted. So you can see open terminal. If I want to open my terminal, I can open it from here. Open as root. I want to open folder as root. Open a new window. Arrange the icons. So you can see the icons are rearranged. You can just click on this and then it will arrange the icon or sort it out for you. Desktop setting. If you want to change your desktop image and the rest of the things, you come to this place. Applications. It contains all your applications. You know, like I said that why cybersecurity personnel like using Kali Linux is because they already have the tools installed for them, so they don't have to go about trying to put on the tools in order for them to use for their daily work or activity. So they already have pre-installed basic tools, okay, for you to use in your cybersecurity work. Okay, so they have applications for you and they have arranged it into reconnaissance, resource development, execution, persistent, and the rest. So from here now, if you want to go to your terminal, okay, you can open your terminal from here. Okay, this place is where you have list of all your applications, just like we had it when we right click this and then we go to applications. So you can also see list of your application from here as well. Okay, so if you want to go to your desktop, this way your desktop is. And this is your terminal, Firefox, and the rest. Your home, your user folder. This is where you have your user folder. You want to go to your user folder. So for now, you can open your terminal from here. Okay, so you can see I've opened my terminal. But there's a shortcut key that you can use to open your terminal. It's Ctrl-Alt-T. Ctrl-Alt-T open a terminal for you. Then Ctrl-Shift+ increase the terminal size so that it's going to be visible. So like now I've increased my terminal size to be visible. Okay, so the first command that you have to run in your terminal, well, once you open the terminal, will be who am I. So who am I is a command that tells you who you are logged in as, okay, in the terminal. So you can see that Daniel Hackbox. So this is my kind of username, the person I'm logged in as. Okay, so who am I tells you who you are from the terminal points Okay, so if I've logged in as another user now, then I run this command. Okay, it's going to also give me the name of that user that I've logged in. Okay, from my terminal, I can decide to log out and log in into another user. Okay, that we are going to talk about that in our subsequent classes. So for now, the next command you have to run, or that you'll be very much using in your cybersecurity journey, is PWD, print working directory. So print working directory is just a kind of trying to ask the terminal to tell you where you are or which folder you are at this particular point. Okay, so it will print the particular folder you are working on. So that is what print current directory does. Okay, so you can see from here, I'm working from my user folder, which is Daniel Hackbox. And then the folder before Daniel Hackbox now is home folder. So from home folder, we have Daniel Hackbox. And then we can also have other folders following the Daniel Hackbox. Okay, that can be the desktop, the download, the others. You look into that. So if you want to go into another folder, but before then, let's list all the folder and file in our current working folder, or you can say current working directory. Like, let's list all the folders and file. So that's when you use something like ls. So ls does what? List all the file and the folder from your current working folder. Let me use that so that you understand if directory is an issue to you. Okay, from the current working directory you're working on, ls will list what? List the files and all the folders that are there. Okay, so you can see from here I have my file account.txt, which I use for my classes. I use that for some practical classes. So I have my bank account to desktop. So if you are just coming into your Kali Linux really, what you are going to see is desktop, documents, download, music, picture, I think, and video. Yeah. So you might not see all these ones because I'm the one that created all these other ones. So if you see that, you know that you are okay, you are good to go. So if you want to go into another folder now, that's when you need to know the command change directory. That is cd, then the name of the folder you want to go into, which can be desktop. Okay, for me, I want to go into my desktop. So cd desktop. You can see this has changed, right? Show me that I am in my desktop directory or my desktop folder right now. Okay, look at this. It was this earlier, showing me I am in my home or in my user directory. Let me put it that way. I'm in my user directory. So once you see this sign, it means you are in your user directory. So from here now, you have moved up to the top desktop, which is what? Desktop directory or desktop folder. So from here now, I can decide to clear my screen. Clear will actually clear everything in your screen and make it as new as it was when you logged in earlier. Okay, so remember we say cd, then the name of the folder we want to go into. Okay, so that was that for that. So from here we can also ls, like ls, to show us the file and the folder that are in our desktop folder or directory. Remember I said something like pwd, print working directory. So you can see that we are working from our desktop now, right? It has changed because we have gone into our desktop, like we are in the desktop folder. All right, so that is it for that. For you to go back, like to go back the folder or to go back to your previous folder, let me put it that way. cd ... go back one step backward from the current working folder. Okay, so everything in Kali Linux is a file. Let me put it that way. Everything in Kali Linux is a file. Right from when you are booting your system to the system running, all the commands that we are running, everything is a file. So that is why we need to also look at the Linux file hierarchy. Okay, so we need to go to the root Remember I said cd dot dot is what? Taking us backward. So we need to go to the root directory or the root folder if you call it that way. So this is our root folder, like the origin, like your C drive in your Windows, like the C drive where everything started. Okay, so if I ls, like I said earlier, ls is what is used to list the folders and the files that are in my current working directory. So if I print current working directory now, you can see that I am in my root directory. Okay, so when you are in your root directory, it's something like the bin folder, the etc folder, the home, the boot, the lib, the media, the procs, the sys, the var, the user, workspace, and the rest. But there are some I just want to bring to your knowledge, some folders which are very, very important that you will be working with as you go higher in the cybersecurity journey. So you need to take note of folder like this bin, cd into bin. Bin is a folder that consists of all the commands that you run in your Kali Linux. Okay, so the bin folder, take or contain all the commands. So you can list the bin folder now. So from here you can see the zip command and other commands. We have a lot of commands in Kali Linux. So most of the commands that are here. The ls command, let's just check that. I know I could have just filtered the output, but I don't really want to go into that because we have not done piping. So you can see the sudo command, which gives you administrative privilege. Like sudo anything gives you administrative privilege, right? Okay, so what are we looking at? The ls command that we were running. So we just have to see where we have the ls command as a proof that this consists of all our commands in Kali Linux. So just take into consideration, just know that your bin folder consists of all the commands you have in Kali Linux. Okay, so I think this is taking time. I'm just going to move on. Okay, so ls. Okay, look at it here. Our ls command that we have been using. So that is bin for you. Okay, let me clear. Dot. We go back there. So apart from bin, we have the exe, which contains what config files. So most of the configuration you are going to do, like maybe you are installing snots, you are installing Splunk and the rest of the things, most of their config file will be in exe. So you can cd into exe folder or etc folder if you call it that way. So you can see we have a lot of machines like the Wireshark is here, the Vim, you want to configure the Vim, and the rest. Lock rotate is a program that kind of rotate lock, mark changer, and the rest. Okay. Then another thing you should look into is the home directory. Okay, the home directory is actually a directory that consists of all the users' directory and everything you are going to do from a user standpoint. You are going to work from your home directory, and then the particular user folder from the home directory, particular user you are working with. I think that is that for the home directory. Then the var directory, you also get in touch with the var directory as a cybersecurity expert as well. So anything that has to do with lock, anything that is changing, okay, it has to do with lock. It has to do with I think this is for Apache server. You want to put in your web application. So anything that has to do with things that changes is in the var directory. So just take note of that. The media here, I think it has to do with the storage. The storage. Then the user folder, it has to do with software that or the kind of programs that are shared between users. Okay, so I think that would be all you need to know for now in this place. So let's cd into our home directory. My bad. Cd into home, and then we clear our screen. So ls. So you can see that I have Daniel, Hackbox, and Promise. So this is another user in my system that has another folder. So this folder is for that user, but I'm just going to cd as Daniel Hackbox. Okay. Okay, so we have what we call flags. So like the ls, when we talk about the ls now, the ls has some flag like L, which means it's going to list all the files and directory in detail. So you can see what happened because we have added our L. It lists the permissions as well for us. Lists the owner of the file, which is Daniel Hackbox, the group that the file actually belongs to, which is Daniel Hackbox, the name of the file, the date it was created, or the date it was last changed. So once you use L flag with your ls, it actually does what? They list the file in details. Okay, list the detailed information about a file or a folder. So if it starts with a space like this, it means what? It is a file. But if it starts with D, it means what? It is a directory. So take that into consideration. I'm going to clear my screen. So ls, apart from the L flag, we have what? We have the A, which is what? Show us hidden file. Now, once you're using the ls without the A flags, it will not show you the hidden file. But if you use with the A flag, you can see that all these files that start with .wget, .wpscan, all this .z history, this is where your history is saved. All these things, it will not show you if you're using normal ls, but once you are using the A flag, it will now list them out for you, okay, because they are hidden files. Okay, apart from the A flag, we have the human readable. So you now tell Linux to, when you are putting the ls, you should put it in the human readable form. So that will not really work because we do not use the lists human readable A. Okay, so look at what happened here. So we now have basically the file size. Look at it. 4.0 kilobytes. So we now kind of have the file size and the folder size. Okay, when we are outputting each of that file, that's kind of in human readable form because we have added our H. There are a lot of flags you can use with ls, but time will not permit us to go into all the flags. But your man page is always there with you. Your help is always there with you. So if you want to open the man page for ls, ls opens the man page and gives you, all the options that can be used with ls. So you can see that ls is used to list what? Directory content. Then it lists information about files. The A flag does what? Do not ignore entry starting with the dots. That means anything that has to start with dots, which is a hidden file, it will not ignore it, will list it out for you. The B flag, the C flags, a lot of flags. The L flag that we use is used to list, use a long listing format. So it gives you detailed format of most of the file that is being listed. The N is there, numeric UID, GID. So list numeric users and groups ID as well. You can just, take a look at this page, while you're using the ls command. Another command you should take note of is the ls help, the help. Okay, so the help is actually the same thing like man, but help will give you a brief, a kind of, how should I put it, to just give you the list of commands or the flag that you can use with the command. You know, the flag, give you a list of the flag that you can use with the command. So you can see that we have the A, the B, the C, and the rest. You, at your spare time, you can just go through it. Time won't permit me to go through all this, but take note of the man and the help page. Every command have it. So every command have the man and the help page. All the commands they have it. So if you are confused in any way, the man and the help page is available for you to use. Okay. So moving on, let's go to our. Okay, so let's see into our desktop. That's what we are going to work on today. Okay. Clear. Okay, from here, if you want to create a folder, you want to create a folder now, you can create a folder, let's say with a command make dir. So you can ask what is make dir. So you can see that make dir is used to create what is making directory or creating a directory. So if you want to create any directory, you use make dir. So make dir, the name of the directory you want to create, let's say Linux essential. Okay, so ls, now you can see that we have the directory here, Linux essential. Right? So for us to go into this directory, Linux essential, cd into Linux essential. Okay, so we ls in our Linux essential, you can see that we don't have any file here. You can see we are into our Linux essential from our desktop. Okay, so it's empty. That's why we ls, nothing happens here because it's an empty it's an empty folder. So now, how do you create a file? You can create a file using what? Touch, then the name of the file that you want to create. Let's say Linux essential.txt. So if you ls now, you can see that we have what? We have Linux essential.txt. ls, and we use the L option. You can see what we have it listed in details for us, right? With the date it was created and the time, the owner, and the group it belongs to. Okay, so if you want to write into that particular file, please, that you have created, you can use the echo. For now, let's just go with the echo. This is line 1. This is line 1. Okay. Then we send the output what? To linux.txt. Okay. Enter. So once you want to display the file content of a particular file, you use the cat in the name of the file, linux.txt, right? So you can see that it has actually displayed the content of this file, linux.txt. So you can ask what is cat. What is cat is used what? Concatenate files and print on the standard output. So you to go through the file and also what? And print out the content of that particular file. So let's say I want to add another thing to this file. That is, I want to append. So echo. So instead of me to use one of this sign, I think that is greater than, I'll use 2. So now let's cut linux.txt. So you can see that I have 2 lines. This is line 1. This is line 1. Okay. So if you want to append to a file, like you want to add something to this file, you use the greater than symbol 2 times. Okay. So apart from using your touch command, the touch command to create a file, you can also use nano. Nano is the text editor. So if you use Nano, then the name of the file that does not exist, you actually opened that file, and then it will create it automatically once you are saving it. If you're actually saving it after you are done with your work. Apart from that, you can also use Nano to open an existing file like our linux.txt. Nano linux.txt. You can see that this is the file. So after you are done with the anything you are doing in Linux, you Control X. Okay, so Control X. Let's just work on that. Let's work on that. Let's add something like I'm just going to edit this. This is line 2. Then this is line 3, right? So Control X, save modify buffer, yes, and then enter. So if I cut my linux.txt now, you can see that I have this is line 1, this is line 2, and sorry about that. This is line 3. Okay, so make dir is used to create a folder. Touch is used to create what? A file. Or you can use Nano with the file name that you want to create. It will actually open that file, add the contents of that file, then you save it with Control X. Is that okay? Okay, so let's continue. Clear our screen. From here now, how do you actually remove a file that you have created? That is when RM comes in. Okay, so before we go to removing that file, let's try creating another folder here, ls. Let's create another folder and we call it copy. Okay, so remember, we say make dir the name of the folder, copy. So ls, we now have a folder copy here. So we are going to copy this file into this folder copy. Okay, so that's when you have something like cp. Cp is a command that copy a file to another directory. Okay, from one directory to another. So what is cp? So you say copy files and directories. So if you want to copy any file or directory to another directory, you use cp. So cp, the name of the file I want to copy is what? Is linux what? txt. The name of the file. Now, you have to, I don't really have to say the name of the file, the paths, because I'm currently working in the directory I want to copy this file from. That is why I don't kind of specify the path. But if you're not working at the directory you want to copy the file from, if your current working directory is not, the file is not present there, that means you have to specify the path of the file you are copying or the path of the folder you are copying. So because I'm currently working in this directory, like this particular directory that this file, linuxessential.txt is, I'm only going to give the name of the file because it is copying from my current working directory, okay? And it's copying it to copy, okay? So we want to specify the path where it's copying it from. You give space and you specify the path where it's copying it to. So you can see that it's copying linux.txt into what? My copy folder. So enter. Then ls, we clear our screen from here. I'm sorry that I'm clearing a lot of screen. So cp into copy. Oh, cd into copy, right? Sorry about that. And I clear my screen. ls now. Kind of ls. So you can see that I have my what? Linuxessential.txt. Look at this. Look at where I'm working from now. I'm working from copy folder or copy directory. So I've actually copied that file, linuxessential.txt, from my Linux Essential folder to my copy folder using what? cp. So let's go back there. cd ... will take you back to the directory that is backward or one step backward. Okay, so ls, if I want to rename this file or I want to move it, Okay, I want to rename it or I want to move it. I use the MV. So what is MV? So MV is used to move or rename file. So anything that has to do with remove, use what? MV. MV, the name of the file, Linux, .txt. Then I'm renaming it as, instead of Linux essential.txt, I can just say Ubuntu, Ubuntu essential, my essential.txt. Okay, so ls, you can see that we don't have linux.txt again, but rather we have what? Ubuntu.txt. Or I don't want to copy the file. Like I want to move it from one folder to the another folder. I want to just move it. So move Ubuntu. Now it's not Linux again, it's Ubuntu.txt. Then I'm moving it to the copy directory. So once you specify the path of the file you are moving and the path, just keep space. You specify the path of where you are moving it to. Okay? Enter. If I ls at this point, you can see that I don't have the Ubuntu essential.txt anymore. But if I go into my copy directory or my copy folder, you can see I have what? I have my Linux.txt, I have my Ubuntu essential.txt. So I clear my screen. Okay, so that takes us to using rm to delete what? A file and a directory. So take note that we can still use cp to copy a directory and we can still use mv to move directory. Okay, it's the same thing. cp, the part of the folder you are copying, the part of the folder you are copying it to, as simple as that. Okay, if you are confused, go to your man page. cp tells you everything about what you are going to do with cp. Or better still, you can go to your help page. cp help tells you basically what you can do with the command cp. Okay, so I think that will get a long way of helping you. Okay, so another thing we should look into is the remove. Let's say I want to remove my Linux. Let me remove my Ubuntu essential.txt, or let me delete it. So remove have its own flag as well, just like the ls have its own flag. Like it has its own flag. So the remove has its own flag, like the recursive and the force. That means if you are trying to delete a particular file or a folder and then it's not responding, you can put in this flag, the recursive and the force. Force is just like telling it under a must, you have to delete off. Okay, I don't think we need to use that here. So remove Linux essential.txt. So if you ls now, you can see that we don't have the Linux essential.txt anymore. Remove what? Linux Ubuntu.txt. Sorry about that. You can see that our copy folder is empty. So cd out, we have a folder here. So you can also say remove what? Copy. So you can see we have a problem. You cannot remove what? It's a directory. So that's when you need to put in something like the recursive force, or let's just use the recursive copy, and then you can see it's gone. Okay, so I think that is that for that. What is remove? If you are still curious, it's a command that is used to remove file or directory. Okay, so there's another command I want you to take note of as well. The disk usage. Okay. Okay, we don't have a particular file here. Okay, so this usage will actually tells you, the size of the file, the size of the files that are actually in that current working directory because of this my asterisk in a human readable form. That's why I give it this H, okay, this flag H and ist. So this asterisk just like in this my current working directory tells me the size of each of the files that are there, okay. Then the sudo command, sudo apt, if you want to update, sudo is actually going to give you administrative privilege of the particular command you are using. So that sometimes you run a command and you see that that command will tell you permission denied. Permission denied. So most time when you are running a command and it's telling you permission denied, some serious system, let's say system CTL okay, let's quit that. apt, clear screen, apt updates. Okay, so you can see something like permission denied. Now, this is because I don't have administrative privilege, permission denied. So if you now decide to use sudo now give you administrative privilege, that is administrative permission. Sudo apt update. So it will ask you for your sudo password. So you can see it's now working. So that is what sudo actually does. If you want to split your interface, you just have to right click on it. You can see we have split here, split button, split left, split, and everything. You can just split it. You see we have two interface now, right? Okay, so I think that will be all. Okay, so uptime will tell you like how long you have been logged in to this Kali Linux machine. So you can see I have been logged in for like 45 minutes and one user, the load, average, and the rest. So with uptime will do. Thank you so much for being part of this training series, and I hope to see you in our future classes. Subscribe to the channel to receive notification when we upload new content like this. For contribution and support, reach out to me on the comment section. Goodbye.